Well, thank you guys for hopping on tonight. As I mentioned in the team page, this is probably the most important Zoom I will do all season long, especially this month, even though, I get excited about all of the Zooms. But this one is really going to transform how we train our new ambassadors. And I'm really excited to hear back after everything. And yeah, all that jazz. Anyway, I've been working really hard on this, and not just me though. A lot of your leaders and a lot of the leaders in my downline have been working really hard on this. They helped me put everything together. This was a huge team effort, and honestly, the ideas came from a mixture of a few different people. And I'll kind of explain that as we go along, because I want to give credit where credit is due. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and explain how it is we're going to go about training our new ambassadors. So if you're familiar with our previous onboarding system for training new ambassadors, I loved it. I worked really hard on it, but granted, that was last March. So what we've done is we've updated and expanded it. So a lot of it's still the same. A lot of it might be repeated, especially in the beginning, but we've expanded it to be something that goes beyond just before and at sign up and the first training call, to make it a month plus long system with continued support and additional information. Your daughter said, "Oh my gosh, she's pretty." Well, thank you. I appreciate that, because I don't have on any makeup right now. And I'm how many weeks pregnant and feel very glossy. So that's very sweet that your daughter said that. I'm going to be looking at some notes, and this is also going to be available for you guys. I think I'll go ahead and post the initial file this morning with the overview, and then there will be additional information tomorrow with incredibly detailed info for everything that I'm going over. So don't feel like you have to be writing every little single thing down, but I will be going over this. Oh my gosh, you guys. Y'all are sweet over there in the comments section. Okay, so we start with before and at sign up, okay? This is, I wrote in my notes, this step is probably the most important in adding new ambassadors to our team, because we want to make sure that we are adding the right people, that we're adding them, that they're joining for the right reasons, and then they meet all the requirements to be a solid ambassador for our team. And I'll go over that in a little more detail than I even do in my notes, to make sure that everybody understands. So we want to make sure that they understand what is expected of them and what they can expect from us. So really making sure that you're vetting them, interviewing them, and preparing them, and letting them know that, hey, the welcome pack's required, along with obviously the annual web hosting fee. And the reason why is because it's the cheapest they will ever get their products, ever, even cheaper than wholesale. It comes with the success kit. It is just a great deal for them in general, and it's good business building practices for you. I'm not going to lie and say we don't get a bonus for welcome packs, but I love that the company has set it up where we get a bonus for helping them do the best thing for our new ambassadors. We also require a 90-day commitment for our new ambassadors. Why 90 days? And this is something I really harp on, you guys, and here's why. And this applies to both wholesalers and those who will be working their business. One is they need to commit 90 days to the products. The reason for this being it takes 90 days for your body to really see changes in any sort of program, whether that's a new diet, whether that's an exercise regimen, whether that's supplements that you're taking. You might start to see little things here or there to begin with, but it's going to take 90 days for you to really see how your body is changing. And also, especially if they're wholesale, they're not going to save any money going wholesale if they don't at least take the products for 90 days, because even with the discounts that they're getting being wholesale, that $34.95 annual web hosting fee, that's a little extra cost at sign up, and it'll take them about 3 months to kind of make up that difference. So it's really just not smart financially if they're not going to commit for 90 days, 90 months. I mean, that'd be cool too. But we require a 90-day commitment. as well as I ask my business builders to commit 90 days to really working their business, because what do I always say with the 90-day rule? If you're my level 1, you've heard me say it a bajillion times. What you do now will reflect in your business 90 days from now. So when you get frustrated, think, what was I doing 90 days ago? And that will probably answer your question. So there's a lot of reasons for why we came up with that date. So I wanted you guys to understand why that is so important and why it's crucial and why we harp on it so much. And then the third part of requirements for new ambassadors is obviously that they have their subscription on. And this is because they just committed to 90 days on the products. So we need to make sure they have their subscription set up for 30 days from the date that they join, so that they never run out of products, so that they can stay committed to that 90-day commitment, and make sure that they're being consistent with their products. That's super duper important, and I let them know that way before sign up, so that when it comes time, there's no question about it. I also like to do in-person or over-the-phone signups. I also put this in my list. I understand that that is not always practical, but it's always ideal. We want to walk them through this and make sure they don't miss any steps. And I think that our new website and virtual office is so simple and amazing. But I just always love to give that personal touch and walk them through it. And also make sure that you have clear sign up instructions written out. I'm sure that there's going to be some floating around with the new system, but just have a 3 to 4 step, simple, clear cut, 1 to 2 sentences for each step sign up process for your new ambassadors. We want to make sure you have that saved in your phone, whether it's a graphic or something in your notes that you copy and paste. It needs to be simple, right? And it is, honestly, but just make sure that you have that. And then as soon as they sign up, immediately set up their first call. Okay, this is so important. And I'm going to be going over what you should be talking about in that first call. But have this set up in the first 24 to 48 hours. We want to go ahead and bank on that excitement, get the ball rolling. We want to make sure that people, are using that momentum that they have when they first start, and that we're getting them information and getting them training as fast as we can. We don't want to put that off. So I just go ahead and set that up. I'm like, okay, awesome. First part of your training is to, have a call with me where I can introduce you to the business and, what to expect and what your training is going to look like. And I just don't even give them a choice. I'm like, okay, I have this time and this time set up in the next couple of days. Which one works for you? It's just what I do. It's what's expected of them. They already know what's expected of them. I've already discussed with them what they should expect from me in regards to training. So for those of you that may have issues getting that set up, just don't even make it a question. This is what you do. This is what we do. This is how we train them. And honestly, side note, if they're a wholesale ambassador, I would still have a first call with them. Make sure that they understand how to order. Make sure they have their subscription on. Make sure they understand, if they were to get paid or if any of their friends were to order, how much they would make off of that. Just to make sure that they understand everything that they need. And beyond that, treat them like a VIP customer. But otherwise, the rest of this is going to be for those that are interested in the business side of things, okay? Okay. So yeah, immediately after sign up, get their first call scheduled and help them make their first post. Okay, this is super important. We have a lot of examples and guides in our training page photo albums. I love all of those, but the magic formula is find a really great picture, some sort of photo, like a family photo or a picture of them or a selfie or something. And I like to not mention Plexus, specifically. I want them to talk about how they're excited. They started a new business. They started taking new products. They've seen what it's done for their friend. And I kind of like the mystery of it. It gets people intrigued. It gets them excited. And people don't prejudge if they've ever heard of Plexus before, or they like to prejudge network marketing. I just love this concept and this approach because it gets people really interested and allows you to open up the conversation without them already judging, it's Plexus, because we all know it's amazing and we want them to have the opportunity to discuss that. And then the last step for this sign up section is send them a welcome email. So this might look different for everybody. I will be sharing what my welcome emails look like, because I feel like this constantly changes for me. But what's super important to have in there is how to take their products. I just need my ambassadors and my customers to have that to access constantly, and not just in a text that I sent them and they'll have to scroll back and look for. I want them to have it somewhere saved. So how to take their products, a team page glossary so that they know what team pages you're going to be adding them to and what they're for and everything, so they don't get overwhelmed. And then the video toolbox, as well as the three-way chat guidelines. So there, we've discussed three-way chats in the past. This isn't new. This is, like I said, building upon what this is all about. So I'm not going to go ahead and talk about the intricate three-way chat with new ambassadors, but we have that information available to you, and if you have any questions, obviously you can always come to me. But anyway, that's it. Before and at sign up, those are the steps that you're going to want to take. Now, focusing on early training and getting them started, I like to have 2 calls. So this first call is in the first 24 to 48 hours. This is where we're going to introduce them to the business, just kind of get an assessment of how they're feeling, and let them know kind of what's going to go on over the next month and a half. And then I like to set up a second training call a few days after that, just to go over a few more things. At that point, they will have more questions. They will probably have had a lot of three-way chats. They will be talking to a lot of people and have had time to go over like the back office and rank up roadmap and all of that jazz. So I like to have 2 separate calls so that the first one can be 15 to 20 minutes and the second one can be 15 to 20 minutes, and they can be more effective. This obviously isn't always practical. If these need to be combined, they can be, but my reasoning for doing 2, I just explained. So after these first 2 training calls, we're going to move into the new mentoring process, I guess, that we have added on, but I will get to that. Okay, so first training call. Let me switch over back to my notes because I got off of it. You're going to start by asking them those 3 main questions, okay? And by the way, I'm going to be doing a very quick overview because you will have a lot of detailed information available to you, and I've also gone over all this detailed information before. But anyway, starting with the first 3 questions that you always ask them, which is, what's your overall vision for your business? Which is to determine their long-term goals. You want to know, like, what is it that they're trying to get out of this? Are they like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be diamond? Or is it, I just want to pay our rent, or I just want to help out with a few bills? Or you want to know what it is that they're striving for so that you can train them appropriately. Second question is, what are your short-term goals? Like, think 3 to 6 months. I want to know what's the pace that they're wanting to go at. Like, they might have diamond as their ultimate goal, but with where they're at in their life, and this goes back to the Zoom I did last week on finding your pace, I need to know what's a good pace for them to go at personally. Do they want to fast start senior gold, do that in the first 30 days? Or are they more thinking gold in 12 months, silver in 3 months? Whatever it is for them, I want to help them achieve that, but I need to know that. And then my third question is, how many hours a week are you willing to invest in your business right now? And that's going to help me determine if their goals are realistic. I'm all for dreaming, and if you believe it, you can achieve it, all that jazz. But I like to sprinkle a little bit of realism in there because I want to make sure that they're not trying to, fast start senior goal, but they can only do an hour a day, which, by the way, an hour a day is more than enough if you're wanting to go gold in like 6 months. So I'm just making sure that their hours a week that they're investing is matching up with their goals so that we can make sure that they don't have their expectations too high or too low. I actually see more too low than too high, if I'm being honest, in my training. So those are the first 3 questions that I always ask. It's a great introductory. It breaks the ice a little bit, and it really gets them thinking, and it helps you understand them more. And then I like to overview the training process. I let them know, I've already discussed before they signed up what to expect, but I like to go over it again. It's usually been a little while, and I just want to make sure that they understand. So I let them know, we're going to have another call after this. And then after that, we'll start a mentoring program. And you'll have continued support after that from me. You can expect, level 1 calls or team calls, or, whether they're by you personally or they're offered by your team, like what I do for our team. And just let them know what to expect in regards to their training. I think this helps people feel more at ease, that they're, they don't have to do everything by themselves. But I just like to let them know what to expect. And then I also like to discuss with them the resources that they have available. Obviously, I will be going over, or you will, because you're going to be training them, a lot more of this in the mentoring. You're going to be showing them a bunch of different things. But I like them to know what they have available to them right now. So I go over, obviously, just touching on their back office and the rank up roadmap, success on demand, shareables, the team pages, training pages, my YouTube channel, as well as some of my favorites, and books. I just let them know, hey, you have all of this information. Oh, and the success kit that they get with their welcome pack, obviously. But I just let them know of all these resources they have available for information, and it's not to overwhelm them. It's just to let them know that if they have a question, they're going to find the answer. And I will help guide them in that. And then I also like to really discuss and bring up again mindset. And a lot of times I'll talk to them about this before they sign up too, but I probably will talk about mindset on every single call. And if you're my level 1, I talk to you about it probably every single call that we have. But this is a constant theme in our initial training as well as just in general. But it's really important to emphasize mindset importance. They need to know that, owning their own business or running their own business, whether it's network marketing or not, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, you guys. And if you've been in this business for longer than 2 days, you understand that. It's hard work, and it's amazing and wonderful, but you will have failures, probably more than you have successes. And that's just life. You learn more from failures. But I need to let them know that. I need to prepare them for that. And I also let them know, if without proper mindset, they're going to give up on their dreams. In any endeavor that they have in life, if they don't have the proper mindset, they're going to end up giving up on themselves. So I just let them know that up front. I didn't used to do that in the beginning, and I've found how important that is. And every single person that I have prepared and done that with has stuck around because they knew going in, hey, this isn't going to be sunshines and rainbows. And then I also like offering up a personal story of mine of when mindset was important to really help, story, what do they say? Story sell. But it's true. It really helps people understand them more and helps them get to know you a little bit more too. And the last thing we'll go over in the first call is just really discussing those 3-way chats more. At this point, you might have done a few with them, but just, this is a great opportunity to talk about them more. If you haven't done any, let them know they need to take advantage of that resource that you have available, and just if they have any questions about it. And then you set up the second training call time and date, which will be within the next few days after that first call. Okay. So going into the second training call, I just like to discuss any questions they have thus far. They've been in the business for close to a week now. They've been, looking onto the team pages, looking in the back office, really acquainting themselves with the business, talking to a few people. They're going to have questions at this point. It might not be a lot, but I just like to open up with that and get those things out of the way to begin with. And then I like to discuss what income producing activities look like. And we go over this more in the mentoring, in more detail, but I like them to know, hey, when you're setting down, you need to know what are income producing activities and what are not income producing activities. And, that looks different for everybody, and you're going to help them individualize one, but giving them like that generic IPA sheet in the file section of our team page is great. Or, maybe they want to get their hands on that daily IPA journal that those people sell on Instagram for Plexus ambassadors, whatever that is, let them know, hey, personal growth, building relationships, reaching out, following up, and posting are really important for daily IPA, so that they understand, just, hey, when I sit down, what should I be doing? Because they're new to this business and they don't really know. And then I also make sure that they understand the compensation plan. This is just basics of basics of basics. They should have gone over this. They'll have it in their success kit. If they do the Rank Up Roadmap Silver, it's one of the first things that they go over in there. But I want to make sure that they are truly understanding it, because it blows me away every time I talk about it. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. And I want to make sure that they really understand the opportunity in front of them. So sometimes I'll spend 5 to 10 minutes discussing this if they don't understand it. Okay. And then last thing I go over with them is personal growth. Again, I discuss this even more with them in the mentoring, but I want to make sure that they have an initial understanding of the importance of this. This is most of what they're going to be doing for the first few months of their business anyway. But I want to make sure that they're, going through the Rank Up Roadmap, that they are aware of the Success on Demand and back office resources. I want to make sure that they are taking advantage of the previous recorded Zooms that we've done for our team, as well as hopping on live ones. And, obviously just like my favorite YouTube people. And again, they're aware of all these resources, but I want to make sure they understand the importance of investing in that. And I usually bring up my 3 favorite books at this point, and they're not my 3 favorite books of all time, but for new ambassadors. And this is when I really strongly suggest to them that they get their hands on what to say when you talk to yourself. And I actually require my personal level ones to do this, to read this book. And that's a lot of what they're doing while we're going through this mentoring. They're reading that in their own time. So the 3 books that I require my level ones to read, and this is at their own pace, by the way, but it's What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, which focuses on mindset, StrengthsFinder 2.0, which focuses on discovering their individual, natural talents and strengthening them, and then 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell, because it helps them understand the importance of leadership as well as hone in on those skills. And I just let them be aware of this, and they probably won't read the second 2 until after we're done with the mentoring, but I just want them to know hey, this is what you have to look forward to. And I have them, like I said, go ahead and get their hands on What to Say When You Talk to Yourself immediately, and have them start reading that in addition to doing our mentoring. And the last thing I do in this second call is I set up a consistent mentoring day and time that we will be meeting. So, whatever works best for the 2 of you. So if it's Wednesdays at 10 a.m., make sure you discuss time zones, by the way. But, set up a day and time that you will be meeting each week, so that you're not trying to figure out what time and day works best for you every single week, and that can get complicated. Obviously, if you need to be flexible and change it, that's up to y'all, but I strongly suggest having a set day and time that you will be meeting for the next month. And without further ado, we'll move into our mentoring. So by the way, like I said, this was an idea I think originally thought up by Alex Coulomb, who's my level 1. And she started doing this with some of her level 1s, so she just felt needed and deserved some extra guidance. And then another girl on my downline, Lindsay Pettit, I'm not even sure what level she is. I think she's a 4 or 5 of mine. But she took what Alex was doing and built upon it even more. And I loved what she was doing. And then we all kind of discussed it. Really, so it'd be perfect for new ambassadors, to really integrate them into the business. It'll help you guys as sponsors to really help guide them more. So that's my goal with this, is to, not only get our ambassadors started off on the right foot, but with this mentoring, You guys will be building your own personal relationship even more. It's helping you guide them and not feel lost and like you're wandering around, for at least the first, 4 weeks of their business. And it helps them make sure that they are getting all the information. We had all of this available in like our basics album, and we've had all this information available to them. But I love the idea of us as sponsors delivering it to them personally, and in small snippets so that they can digest the information and then implement it and really understand it over the next week before we move on to anything else. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so I'm not going to go into major details about each one of these topics. That will be available. Like I said, a lot of the leaders have been taking a lot of time to put all of this together and make sure that it's explained. But I will go over what you'll be going over in each week of the mentoring process, okay? So week 1, you're going to be going over their goals and their vision. So just like those first initial 3 questions you asked them, that's great, but you're going to be going over it in more detail. I like to personally do my own little goal mapping with them maybe, but I really want them to think about what their overall vision is. I suggest a vision board. We discuss goals and the importance of all of that. And then I go over their virtual office with them. I get on Zoom and I screen share with them. And I show them, I go to ordering, I show them how to order their products. We make sure their subscription is set up, and just really talk about the importance of that. Again, even if it is set up, I really want them to understand that for duplication purposes. I show them the shareables and all the resources available there. Again, rank up roadmap, success on demand, all of that jazz, because I want them, if they haven't already looked at it, I want them to understand the amazingness that is available to them. And I think the reason that I harp on this so much is because that wasn't available to us when I started 3 years ago, like not even close. So I'm constantly blown away by the material that and education that Plexus is coming out with, like corporate's giving us. And so I want to make sure we're all taking advantage of it. And then I go over the 4 pillars of belief with them. If you've never heard of the 4 pillars of belief, I think Alex just always does it amazingly. She did a Zoom for her team. I don't remember when, but a few months back on it, and I'm sure there's more information on it. But it's really just discussing the belief in network marketing, belief in Plexus as a company, belief in the products, and belief in yourself, and why all of those are so important. And then we talk about developing their Frank 63 list, and I give them resources on that. And then we end with building relationships. So I could talk forever about that, so I'll just skip that. But we talk about building like authentic relationships, and that kind of leads into reaching out a little bit and all that jazz. But I just want them to focus on, in the beginning of their business, like really, this is about building relationships with people. We're in the business of relationships, not the business of like being sharks and trying to recruit people. Okay, week 2, we discuss flipping their Facebook and all the lovely ins and outs of that. I will probably have friended a lot of Plexus people in the meantime, and we need to make sure that they understand, that's not their market. And so flipping their Facebook, increasing their visibility. I'll do a Facebook audit with them where I'll screen share and we'll look at like their Facebook page and talk about that being their storefront. And then I'll show them a few other examples and just discuss with them what we're looking for in that and how they should be representing themselves and more of how they want to represent themselves, and making sure that that's shining through more than how they should, I guess. Go over their color personality. I don't train based upon their color personality, but I think it's really cool for them to know what motivates them. And it's cool for me to know what motivates them. Is it helping people? Is it information? Are they a red or are they a blue like me? Do they like to party? Do they like incentives and contests? And then I go over the training pages with them. I discuss more of what their daily method of operation should look like, and what income producing activities will be good for them right now. And then the art of following up as well. And then in week 3, I I discuss their we go over perfect conversation. So I've done a lot of like videos on this for you guys of like how to discuss without being salesy and how to have a conversation with potentials when you're talking about either the products or the business side of things. So I just go over all that information with them, and as well as provide them with extra resources, go over customer service, we get their launch party planned, we discuss their, what a dream team is and, how they should be thinking of theirs, getting that going in their heads. And then we also discuss pre-mentoring. So if you don't know what that is, let me know. We got some resources on that for you. And then week 4 is attraction marketing. And that just goes into a lot of different things, which includes expanding your network, reaching out, recruiting. And it's very intricate, and I love it, and I'm obsessed with it. And so that takes up a bulk of our time in that 4th week, but we also discuss duplication during that time. I don't go into it in major detail, but I make them aware of, when they recruit these new people, what's expected of them and how they should be training, and let them know, like, I'll be walking them through it as well. I suggest doing a 7-day to silver challenge if that's their jam, like that's at their pace. And then we just catch up, review, go over any questions in that 4th week, and really make sure that, they are comfortable with where they're at and all that jazz. But beyond that, we need to make sure that we're continuing to support our new ambassadors. You're still their sponsor after this initial onboarding and mentoring process. At this point, they'll have been in the business for about 6 weeks. They have so much information that has been delivered to them that's at their fingertips. And, this is going to look different for each individual depending upon the pace they're wanting to go at, their overall vision, and their personality. But there's a few things that we need to make sure that every single person is getting that continued support. So you guys can figure out, how often they want to be checked in on, and how often you guys want to continue to do calls, even if it's not like a mentoring, specific thing. You can also let them know, like, hey, I have level 1 calls every so often, or team calls, again, and just let them know what continued support they can expect from you, and make sure, they're getting what they need. But a few things for this is they need to know, or you need to help them find an accountability partner, or let them know the importance of finding one, I guess, really. I love sideline accountability partners. I've seen that do amazing things for people's businesses. I know that I personally couldn't be where I am in my business today without Ashlee, who's my accountability and business partner, where we have an upline sideline or upline downline relationship, but she's my best friend for 10 years. And we just work really well together. We got lucky in that way. But finding accountability partner that really meshes well with their strengths and the pace that they're wanting to go at is key, which leads me into helping them discover their strengths. So like I mentioned before, the Strengths Finder 2.0 book, and just all of that jazz, but making sure they know what they're good at and the people that are going to complement those strengths, and finding people to work with well, whether that is an accountability partner or whether that's in their downline. Obviously continuing to help them support their mindset. Not only What to Say When You Talk to Yourself isn't the only mindset book. There's so many. And if this is an area that someone struggles in, they're going to need more than just what to say when you talk to yourself. And they're going to need that continued support from you. And also helping them develop their brand. This is part of that continued support. I obviously have my branding challenge. This kind of goes into the whole attraction marketing thing. There's so many resources out there for it, but really helping them discover who it is that they want to be, who it is they want to represent in business and in the world, and really helping them hone in on that so that they can really attract the types of people that they want to attract to their business. And then I don't even want to say lastly, because there's so much more, but that shift into leadership. So at this point, your new ambassadors are going to be having their own team, and we need to help them make sure that they understand what that means for them, and how it's going to shift from just them being on their own to supporting a team, and developing their leadership skills and really supporting them in that, and making sure that you're developing more leaders in your team. I've discussed that with a lot of you lately. And again, there will be a lot more detailed information on this, but that is just so incredibly important that, not only are you helping your ambassadors get started in their business, but you're also guiding them in that transition into leadership and helping them really understand that importance, and what that takes, since you already know because you're doing it. But anyway, that is all that I have. And if you guys have any questions, I am more than happy to go over them with you. Send me a message. We can start a thread on the team page. But I'm going to go and upload this file to mine and Ashlee's team page right now. Again, more information will be released in the morning in regards to details, but I want you to have the overview at your fingertips. But I'm so incredibly excited for this. I hope this is helpful for you guys and your team. I've already seen it make a huge difference in my personal team, like levels 1s and everything. So thank you all for hopping on, and I will have this recorded and up on YouTube super soon, like tonight. Okay. Bye, guys. I'll talk to you soon.